Welcome to Lead Her Chats with your host, Jade Richmond. This is a no-fluff zone where big girl panties are required. Nothing but true-to-life conversations take place here. We are broadcasting from Bold Radio Station, and now, here is your host, Jade.
Welcome to another episode of Leader Chats Radio. I am so excited for our guests that we have on the line tonight. And we're going to be talking about something that is so important to millennial entrepreneurs, primarily women in business. So it's a great topic. I'm all for women empowerment, all for women in business and turning their ideas into a profit. And that's what we're actually going to be talking about tonight. We're going to be talking about how to turn your ideas into an irresistible success with Chakayla Taylor. But before we get into all that juicy information, if you're new to Leader Chats, we're all about having transparent and authentic conversations. We're all about giving the real deal on life and business. And we don't want to give any fluff or BS. We're all about being honest and open and trying to help you elevate your life in or professional life to the next level. So welcome to Leader Chats. If this is your first time joining us, if you're a return listener, we appreciate you so much for all the shares and the support that you have given us over the past almost year now. So we thank you and appreciate you. So without further ado, we're going to get into introducing our guest. Our guest tonight on the line is Chakayla Taylor. She is a certified goal success coach for female entrepreneurs hungry to turn their ideas into an irresistible success. Through her work, Chakayla has mastered the secret to online success through power of bomb social media content and mastering the secrets of goal manifestation. And without further ado, let's welcome Chakayla. Welcome, lady. How are you?
Hello, everyone. How are you? I'm fantastic. So excited for today's call.
Thank you so much for taking time out your day to be on this call and being flexible, with your schedule to, share some information with our women. I think it's so essential that we have this type of support and a platform to offer resources and, honest information for women.
Almost certainly. I'm a strong believer in empowerment. That's the base of my business. That's the base of anything that I share on social media and in emails. I'm a strong believer in that and providing education and empowerment. So I'm excited. I'm all in. So I'm one to give a lot in one sitting. So please tell me to pull back when I need to, but I'm very, very excited to be sharing.
Oh, no, you don't need to pull back. That's what we need. We need all the information we can get, So one of the questions before we get into, the juiciness of, turning ideas into a success, tell us, why do you do the thing that you do? How did you get started with your business in particular?
Oh, that's a great question. So I feel like this is almost every entrepreneur's or blogger's background. I first started out in the industry in 2009. I was a freshman in college, actually, and started out blogging as a fashion blogger, college fashion blogger. So throughout those 4 years, that's what I talked about, fashion. And what I've noticed is that though my main focus of interest was fashion and how to be frugal and fashionable at the same time, is that I had a knack for building online communities, building and just leading communities, period. That's what I figured. I really did learn that and understood how to champion in that, but didn't really realize that or hone anything in until I graduated, and I was about a year out from undergrad and took my first career in advertising as a social media and public relations assistant. So through that position, I learned a lot about what it meant to use social media as a powerful force, not only to market, but to tell your personal brand story. And I'm really, the 9-to-5 grind definitely is not for me. I learned that through that job, but I learned in that year and maybe a couple of months that I was there that my purpose is greater than fashion, that my purpose is greater than social media, is that I have a voice in this platform to help women do X, Y, and Z. So through me figuring out, okay, I'm great at building online communities, in that, one, I'm attracted to women online and women online are attracted to me. It didn't matter what I was talking about, but the undertone and everything that I said was all about empowerment, how you can feel empowered, how you can feel as if you're a leader. I didn't realize that that's what I was doing, that I was a leader in that space and that I was producing leaders as well. So in the time frame that I did that, I was blogging exclusively maybe for like 6 or 7 years. And I just got tired. I tell people all the time, when you feel like what you're doing, if your passion starts to feel like a chore, it's time to reevaluate or stop what you're doing. If it's starting to feel as if, oh my goodness, it's just another thing on the checklist or another thing on your laundry list, then it's really time for you to reevaluate if it's for you. And so at that time, when the wave of coaching really began, I started to work with a coach. I wasn't a coach at the time, but she was coaching me. I was basically her guinea pig client, so she could figure out what she should be offering and how she should be offering it. I really was introduced to business strategy and how to figure out how to ignite my passions into a product and service. That's what I was wired to do in the beginning. Through that process of trial and error, I went from being a graphic designer to someone that made printables and templates, things that I was great at for myself, but should I have been offering that to other folks? Probably not, because it wasn't very successful in the beginning. But as I learned that process, that I may not be someone to do the graphics for you or make your printable, but I'm really knowledgeable on how to package yourself, how to tell your brand story, and how to create communities. So after we figured that out, we deduced that, hey, this is what I'm passionate about. I didn't become a coach just then. I became an expert in branding. I became an expert in social media. So the first year of my business, I focused on social media development, how to tell your story, how to build your personal story online, how to build communities that is based off of your own personal story. And I became great at that, which led me to wanting to get my certification as a goal success coach, which specifically focuses in on, okay, you have all of these ideas on how to build a brand, how to cultivate messaging, but how can I help you from point A to point B? So we're great at brainstorming as entrepreneurs, specifically female entrepreneurs, but we're not that great at connecting the dots. So how can I help you fulfill your mission, to turn your goals into realities and action? So that's where I am at this present moment. So long story short, it's okay if you circumvent and you start somewhere in the beginning and you change. We're imperfect for a reason. We're meant to learn lessons and we're meant to change and transform. And I've led different lives in this entrepreneurship world, and that's okay. I'm still learning. It's okay to learn and transform.
You know, I think you made a lot of great points. I think, as our vision expands, as our skills develop, and once we start finding our sweet spot, I think transformation is good. I remember when I first started out in my business, I started out doing one thing and it completely shifted to something completely different as my focus changed, as my audience changed, as what was giving me fulfillment changed. And I'm a firm believer that you shouldn't do something just because it makes money for you. You should be in alignment not only with your gifts and talents, but with purpose, something that, you are so excited to, do. Like I explain it as a happy high because I've never smoked before, anything like that. So I tell people, it's one of those happy highs that I get, with helping women in business and starting and protecting their business and their brands. So in, giving them business strategy, that is my happy place, but before, because I have a legal background, before when I first started off in business, I was focused on more so the legal aspect of business. And that was one of the reasons why I left the law firm that I was with, because, I got tired of legal jargon. I got tired in speaking that boring lingo, and then when you are practicing in a law firm, you're confined to certain constraints. You can't be flexible with how you build clients, and things like that, because you're in the parameters of the law. And that's not what I wanted to necessarily bring to my business. When I decided to go in business for myself, I wanted to help women actually kind similar to what you do, turn ideas into a profit and show them how to properly protect their business and build the right foundation. But I necessarily didn't want to be, seen as an attorney helping business owners, because that wasn't my focus. I wanted to help women build businesses with a strong business strategy, not a strong just legal strategy attached to it. So I had to figure, as time changed, I realized that, it's great that I have a legal background, because now I can tell my clients, like, okay, if you're trying to build a business this way, then that's not the best legal strategy to implement. Here's the best business strategy to go for. So, it's like what you said, you started out blogging and now you're doing something completely different now. You still have the blogging aspect, but it's not your focal point now. You have expanded it from there. And, sometimes I think, some female entrepreneurs, especially some of my clients I get, as their business expands and their vision expands, they think, because it's going in a different direction that they have failed. And that's not true. You haven't failed. We have to learn how to grow with times. And I think that's why a lot of entrepreneurs get stuck and they can't go to the next level in their business, because they're so married to the first idea version of their business. I think by you mentioning that was an essential point, because I noticed that a lot of entrepreneurs, if they just, divorce the first idea of their business and embrace change, their business will take off to the next level. But so many of us, because we put so much time and energy into that first idea, into that baby.
Come on now.
They don't want to let go. And I'm like, okay, if you want to grow, you have to be open to change, And I try to use different examples of other brands and businesses, like Coca-Cola. Like, at first, Coca-Cola was not a drink company. A lot of people don't know that. They don't know that. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Google. You need to know that story about Coca-Cola.
But this is actual information.
Yes. Yeah. Google it. Learn the story of Coca-Cola. When they started, they were not a Coke company or a drink company. There was something completely different. So yes, look at them and where they were during the war. And find out about Coca-Cola. So but just understand we got to change with the times, change with your gifts and talents and where your focus is, because where your focus is going to generate the results. So if your heart is not really into building the business, then because you're just going through the motions because you're trying to survive, it's going to show. Yeah. It's going to show in your results. So I encourage you, if you're on the line tonight and, you're stuck with this idea, you've been thinking about, should I change something up? If it's really that urgent and it's on your heart, then you should definitely consider, expanding the vision, going to the next level in your journey. And it's okay. It's okay. Change is okay. Yeah. Change does not signify failure. It does not signify that you should stay at a 9-to-5 if that's your choice. And I also want to preface that, because you mentioned, in the beginning when you first started talking, Chakayla, you said something, you realized a 9-to-5 was not for you. And you know what? I think right now in this millennial era and everyone's talking about going to business for themselves, they think it's something wrong with having either both a business in a 9-to-5 or just having a business. So there's no shame in it. You can do both, or you can have one. It's just what works for you. What is your goal?
Yeah, but there's also, along with, because I faced that conflict where I started my business while working a 9-to-5, while working a retail job. So technically, it's not always 9-to-5. You have odd hours that you work according to opening and closing the store inventory. But another thing that I faced was, okay, I have this 9-to-5. Is it okay that I'm doing other hustles that maybe not related to my coaching? It's totally okay. And another thing that I feel like, especially the new wave, younger generations who are now younger than millennials who are coming out and building their businesses, I'm just like, you guys are babies. I wasn't even thinking about building a business. Like you said, they become married to that one idea, and that they believe, if I'm an entrepreneur, they're self-sufficient. Every entrepreneur, every coach has a coach. Every entrepreneur has a mentor, and every mentor has a mentor. So it's totally okay for you to be talking and rebranding, because like I said, I've worn many different shoes, and in those previous lives, I didn't have a coach or a mentor to help me through it. I had to help myself through it, but now I am working with a coach, and I'm currently in another rebrand, another phase of my life where I'm craving authenticity in this coaching space, and I'm craving to be Chakayla. To be Chakayla and what that means I want to really, really dig deep into my building blocks of my own personal story and where I've come from. And I think that is the biggest thing that's up for grabs at this point, because authenticity is missing. It's like when you go on social media, you always leave parched because you're like, okay, that's great. I learned a lot about social media strategy. I learned a lot about how to build my income streams, but how can I be myself and be myself uniquely and comfortably? And that's up for grabs right now. So that's what I'm working on. But like you said, it's totally okay to divorce your ideas and be in a relationship, with something else. Even if you're dating, think about it like that. It's totally okay to get out there and start dating your ideas again and start to build and manifest your goals. That's the importance. That's what keeps you alive. That's what keeps things fresh and going and innovative.
Yeah, I think, like I said, you made a lot of awesome, great points. It's just about, when we have so many ideas, like I tell people, like, as far as branding, because, it's, with having a mentor and things like that, some people say, you got to work on one thing first before going on to the next. And I feel like, we are unique human beings. We can have so many different gifts and talents and things like that to be successful. There's no one thing that you have to do. And when you have an idea, you can have multiple great ideas. The thing is about execution. And that's something that I want to get into talking about tonight is how do we, get into goal manifestation and visualization and actually turning those ideas into reality, because I run across a lot of women who, they come to me before, thinking about, engaging their idea. And, they just need help with, not only goal manifestation, but realizing that idea. So how can they, turn these goals into a reality?
Oh, that's a great question. One of my all-time favorite questions to ask and really dig deep and dive into. So like I said, this was not my first life, and I didn't know that I necessarily had these goals. But personally, in my own life, I've always been a go-getter. I remember when I was in high school, when I would try out for things I knew that I wasn't athletically apt for, but I didn't care. I tried out for track. I tried out to throw the javelin. I tried out to play basketball. But ultimately, I wasn't academic. But that didn't stop me from anything, because once I got my mind set on something, I had to fulfill it. And the same thing in my business life. When I have an idea, it gnaws at me. I become super passionate about it that I start the research phase for it. I start to talk to professionals in that field about it. I start to figure out, is this really meant for my business, and is my audience going to be attracted to this product or service or to this new rebrand that I may be going through. So when it comes to goal manifestation, I know when people see it online and on social media, when I post it, they get kind of iffy. They're like, "Ooh, that's lofty right there." Before they even create the goal, when they see goal and then pair with manifestation, they're like, "Girl, that's cute, but how do I do that?" So if you want to break it down into something that's completely, I don't want to call it easy, because nothing we put our minds to is easy, but something that you can actually that you become diligent in, right? I call it goal mapping. So goal mapping is very similar to when you have your vision board, but minus the images. So they're words. So there are 3 sections on this goal map. You're going to have 3 to 4 goals that you're going to focus on. Each and every goal is going to have this tier breakdown. So goal number 1, you're going to have a phrase beside it that basically, okay, so what's going to help you? What are going to be the resources that are going to help you bring this goal to life? Then your next tier, beside that same goal, beside what are going to be the resources that are going to help you, what are some things that will prevent you or hinder you from reaching that goal? Because that's how the human brain works. we instantly think, oh, I have this dope idea. How can I bring it to life? Okay, I know that I have this. I have my certification. I have a coach and mentor that can help me bring it to life. I have a group. I have an audience, a 1,500 plus audience and tribe members that I can present it to and have them survey for it. You're pumped because you know you have the resources. But then creeps in doubt, then creeps in fear, then creeps in the idea that you are not worthy enough or that you are not purpose-driven enough to even bring that idea to life. Those are going to be the things that prevent you from bringing that goal to life. So having that on paper and you seeing it every single day when you're walking beside it, even though it doesn't have like powerful images on there, it has powerful words that are going to be telling you, hey, when you feel like this is your goal. Step one, this is your goal that you want to accomplish. If you want to make $200 additional every single week, this is what you're going to do. Here are the steps that you're telling yourself that you have. Here are the resources. So in order for you to overcome that negativity in the second tier, you have to focus in the middle. The middle is your sweet spot, right? We tend to forget that. I love, when I was in college, I feel like every professor said sweet spot. Like, oh my goodness, if you're focusing on computer science and this equation, this is your sweet spot for X, Y, and Z. Like, I don't understand anything about computer science, but I love the phrase sweet spot, and I've just been using it since college because it really, when you think about it, it really just ignites positivity. It sends your endorphins running. You're like, oh my goodness, it builds that adrenaline. Like, yo, I can achieve this. So if you think of that middle ground between your doubt and your fear and those powerful resources that can help stomp out that negativity, you have that sweet spot, that middle ground that's going to help you reach and resonate towards your goals. You can achieve any and everything you set your mind to. We've heard that since we were children, since we were probably in elementary school. And it's true. It's true. When you think about it, children have the most powerful imaginations. And the older we get, the more real life, the more doses of real life that we get, that crush, that imagination. But if you really, really focus in on and you tell yourself, along with goal mapping, when you affirm your position on where you're going to be, where you want to be, you're more likely to fall on that green grass where you want to be. So I have a journal that I keep. And I haven't been good with writing my entries. So what I have to do every single day is I tell myself, today is going to be a beautiful and magical day. I'm going to show up and show out. And that's what I've been doing all day. I've been showing up and showing out. So what are you going to do? what's going to be your fallback plan, right? So goal mapping is very powerful because you can do that at any moment. You can do that today. You can do that after this call. You can do that after you listen to this. You can do that tomorrow. But why wait tomorrow when you can do it tonight, right? So that's the most powerful thing. It's actionable. That whenever you put, Erykah Badu has this dope saying, once you put pen down to paper, just dope stuff happens. Dope things happen. When you actually physically write down your goals, your ideas, and your aspirations, it's like you're subconsciously telling your mind that, okay, this has to happen. Mind, how are we going to make this happen? So the more you become focused on unlocking and tapping that pick towards that rock to get toward the diamond, the more likely you're going to get that diamond. Because if you're sitting there with the pick in your lap and you're like, well, I want to do this, you're missing the whole action. Affirmation and action have to happen together. You understand? Because that's what helps you manifest your goals. Oftentimes we see in the space, oh, if you think it, it will happen. Yes, if you think it and you follow it up with positive, reaffirmative, actionable action, you will be able to accomplish any and everything you set your mind to. There are going to be times when you may fail and stumble, but guess what? You are building your own blueprint to success. That's the whole purpose of going through that process. It's okay to fail because that means you're still winning. You're still on the track to winning because now you know what needs to happen in order for you not to fail again. So that's my whole philosophy on goal manifestation and really achieving and being hungry towards your goals is that you have to have action. You have to have action. You have to have positivity, and you have to have a bit of realism as well. So you're not going to make $1 million in the next 10 minutes. It has to be real. So there's this thing called SMART goals that you really, I say, before I even tell you what they are, Google that. Google that. Once you do that, it's capital SMART goals. They break it down with that acronym. You're really going to view your goals differently once you research that. And I mean, it will just blow your mind away.
Yeah, you said a lot, and I like your concept of goal manifestation, because you know what? A lot of people, it's so funny because, you know, at the end of the year, around the last week of December and the month of January, everyone wants to have a vision board party, or they want to create a vision board, and then they're like midway through the year, like, well, or to next year, none of their goals have come to realization. They're not understanding why. And you said it plainly, straight to the point. You have to follow those visions up with action, you know. And I think sometimes we put things on these boards, and if we don't have a step-by-step action plan, and like you said, SMART goals, you know, associated with, you know, SMART, measurable, attainable, realizable goals, you need all those things. And if you don't have them, you'll fall short of making those goals a reality. And so I think, you know, your idea of goal mapping is really what essentially should be part of visualization and vision board. So if you're going to do a vision board, you need to have a step-by-step action plan on attaining what you put on that board. If you don't have that, then it'll be impossible to attain them in a realistic manner. So I think you hit the nail on the head with that one.
Yeah, and I know it's very lofty in the beginning, because when I was taught the process and when I actually had a chance to visualize the process, that's how our mind works, which is why sometimes we go into overload. So if you have a chance to actually sit down, take your notes on what I just said, and then do it for yourself, you will see that once you start to do it, just like affirmation building, just like listening to affirmations, just like meditating, those are things that have to continually happen. It just can't happen in one sitting like, yes, girl, I got this goal mapping, I get it. Because you won't get it at first, because I didn't. I was like, okay, girl, this is cute, but what is this? You have to continually to work on it, work on yourself, work on the process, and you will see how it truly works for you.
Absolutely. So we have a couple minutes left, and, you know, a lot of the listeners are on the line because they want to know, how can they turn their ideas into profit? How can they launch their ideas? And do you have any tips for that?
Oh, yeah. So I know now, you know, it's about the dollars. Dollars are fantastic, but I have this philosophy, and it has done wonders for myself. It's done wonders for my clients, is that when you actually take time, now listen to what I'm going to say, you might not like it at first, but you know once you put it into action that you're going to like it. The first step to making profit is that you have to take time to invest.
Yes.
Invest into the knowledge and expertise, into the tribe, into the ideal clients, into the audience that you want to become, that you want to become clients in the future, right? So how can you invest, not money, how can you invest time, expertise, and knowledge to them? How can you make them smarter? Because Maddie said something so powerful maybe a year or two ago. She said, maybe it was Maddie or Maya, Elias, they're sisters. So, I mean, like, one of them said it, or both of them said a combination of this. But when you take time to invest in your expertise, you're going to sell your expertise first, because what happens is your audience is going to be like, oh, my goodness, she's giving me all of her knowledge and expertise for free, that I kind of feel bad that I'm just getting it for free. So the moment you actually develop a product and service off of your expertise, off of what your tribe is interested in, they are going to, 9 times out of 10, they're going to purchase it because they trust you. You have to build trust and loyalty for your tribe, because if you just come out the gate like, what's up, I'm a new coach, here's my $20, $90, $1,000 product, you need to take that time and figure out, okay, how can I invest my time, knowledge, and expertise into this ideal client before I even ask them for money? That is a process and a strategy that has never led me astray, because I do it every single day. People ask me questions every single day, and I have a way to direct them, whether it be via the blog, whether it be via my resource library, or even if it's on Twitter or Instagram, because I'm always giving away something as far as like my knowledge base. So think about that. That's something that's helped me make a nice amount of change in these past few years. So take the time to actually invest in the knowledge and expertise of your audience.
Yeah, like I'm with you. When you over deliver, then you create a sense of trust within your tribe, and then you start attracting the ideal client that you want. So you said it. You said it more than once. Invest. Not only investing in your own expertise, but investing in, others. When you do that, build collaborations and things like that, you might run into someone can help turn your idea into something you didn't even imagine, because their thinking level is something completely different from yours, but you offer something that can help elevate your first idea to the next level. So it goes back to what we were discussing in the beginning of this conversation was, not being married to the first idea, not being married to be open to change, be open to evolution. Oh, yeah. So definitely you offered a lot of great insight, and I want to thank you. But before we go, can you tell the audience how they can connect with you and what you're currently working on?
Oh, most certainly. So you can always stay connected with me in many places, but the main places that I'm in are on Instagram, and that's Chakayla J. Taylor, across the board. So CHAKYLA Taylor, TAYLOR, and also on Twitter. I took a little hiatus on Twitter, but I'm back full and running. I use that for my morning inspiration and affirmations to provide inspiration and strength for myself and for my tribe, and also online at ChakaylaJTaylor.com. That is actually going to go through a rebrand soon. So that's what I'm currently working on, is a brand new rebrand that my audience does not know quite yet, but I'll be sharing that soon. So I'm going to be very excited to share that. And also, I am releasing a book in the fall of this year, a book of affirmations and short stories. So I'm so excited. I have a lot in the pipeline for 2017 before it ends, right at the end. But I'm super excited because it's going to reignite my 2018. So I'm super duper excited. That's what I have going on, and that's how you can stay in touch with me.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and everything for talking with my audience. You offered a lot of great information, and I think this is going to inspire a lot of people on the call tonight to, take action and get those ideas moving before the end of the year. So I want to thank you for that.
You are so welcome. Thank you for your time and for this beautiful interview. I had a great time.
Thank you so much. Now, you go ahead and enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll keep in touch, okay?
Thank you, darling.
Thank you for tuning in. Hop on over to searchforherexistence.com and join in on the discussion. Also, tweet us at searchforherexist and tell us what you think about today's show. See you next week, all on Bold Radio Station.